Hello, good evening, welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live on news up at Desawe Kanda. Also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook and X at 3FM 927. So you can join us with your thoughts, views, comments, and opinions there at 3FM 927. Read out to you and to the rest of the world. Coming up this evening here on Hot Edition, Bass ambush in Boko leaves 3 injured barely 48 hours after President Akufo-Addo expressed alarm over the insecurity in Boko and how much it's costing the nation. We have details for you here on Hot Edition. Also, passage of anti-LGBTQ plus bill continues to spark condemnation from international bodies. This evening, we're delving into why there is so much interest in this controversial bill that has been passed by Parliament, and minority demands a load management schedule following recent power outages in parts of the country. Let us know if you slept in darkness as a result of power outage where you live. Go on to 3FM 927 on Facebook. Let's hear from you. We monitored the power outages in many areas across, especially the capital here in Accra. We'll give you details shortly. Meanwhile, the Electricity Company of Ghana disconnects supply to Parliament, leaving MPs and parliamentarians, and that's the parliamentary staff stuck in elevators. We'll give you details of that shortly and how all of that played out in Parliament earlier today. And more here on Hot Edition. I am Alfred Ocansey. Welcome. Let's get into the details now. And unfortunately, the news we're monitoring is that 3 people have been left with life-threatening injuries after a gunman ambushed an Accra-bound bus in Boko in the Upper East region. The ambush happened near the Boko Senior High School. A team of police personnel also provided escort for the bus. There was also some intense exchange of gunfire between the attackers and the Ghana Police Service personnel, who managed to drive away the attackers. The injured, the driver of the bus, the driver's assistant, and a female passenger have been rushed to the Presbyterian Hospital for treatment. Security in the vicinity has since been beefed up. Upper East Regional Correspondent Senyala Castro joining us on the telephone for a quick update on this rather unfortunate development. Castro, what more do we know about this incident that's left some 3 people with life-threatening injuries?
Yes, so Alfred, we're still gathering information around the unfortunate incident that took place this afternoon, but we understand that the security agencies within the Boko area have rushed there. Let me add quickly that this is the 3rd time an attack is happening at that particular place. It has now been noted as one of the high risk areas, and residents are being warned to tread cautiously whenever they are there. We understand that the bus was going from Accra. It had driven from the inside part or the inner part of the township, the municipality, and was going towards Bolga when the unknown gunmen, numbering about 6, opened fire on the bus in the presence of the police who were providing escort for that bus. We understand that it is connected to the age-long Boko Chieftaincy complex, and the security forces have begun investigations. The police have not spoken about or commented on it, as they have always been quiet on these issues, but we understand that the whole area has cordoned, and the presence of the military and the police has been increased.
I see. Now, but tell us a bit more, at least, just as to how things played out, because we understand that the ambush happened near the Boko Senior High School, even though there was a police team providing escort for the bus. What exactly do you know?
Yes, so exactly what I have been saying. Yes, the police were, according to sources, the police were behind the bus, and there was another team in front of the bus, except that the one in front had gone a bit far away from the main bus. And usually when vehicles, especially buses, passenger buses, are coming out from the inner part of the municipality, what happens is that the police who have ranged have made arrangements to, as part of ways to de-escalate the situation in the municipality, would usually provide escort for these buses. And so it happened that this one too was going out, but then as to how the attackers were able to attack in the midst of, in the presence of the police escort team is what is still not clear. But we're digging deeper, and when we get information, we'll update our listeners.
And Castro, stay with me. For those of you watching us on Facebook right now, those of you listening on 3FM 92.7, go on Facebook at 3FM 927. We have exclusive pictures and videos of this bus that was attacked by the unknown gunmen, that's left some 3 persons on the bus with life-threatening injuries. We're talking about the driver of the said bus, his assistant, and a female passenger. We're showing you right now, live on 3FM 927 on Facebook, this picture of the bus riddled with bullet holes from the attackers. Now, Castro, is it normal to have the police escorting buses, passenger buses, leaving Boko on a daily basis?
Yes, it has become a practice. It has become more of like a ritual. I mean, I can put it that way, because, like I stated, this is part of measures being put together or being rolled out by the security agencies to see how best they can help resolve the conflict. Because if buses are getting attacked on the highway, the best the police can do, aside from barricading or building barriers along the highways, is also to provide security for, passenger buses. And Alfred, this is not the first time, the gunmen have opened fire on a vehicle even though there are police providing escort. If you recall, somewhere last year, a passenger bus also came under the attack of unknown gunmen somewhere in Pusiga, also in the Boko enclave. Except that this time round, it hasn't been as deadly as that attack was, because we understand that no one has been killed from this attack, and we're still on and keeping our ears on the ground so that when we get more information, we come through for our listeners.
I see. But, Castro, here's a case where if the situation is that troubling, I mean, where you have the criminals or these unknown gunmen having the confidence to attack buses, even though there's police escort being provided for these passenger buses. I mean, from your own understanding, and you've indicated that this is not the first time it is happening, what's been the response mechanism? What has changed over the period? How has that influenced the changing strategy by the security agencies that you have observed so far?
Yes, very little is being put out there as far as the strategy of the security agencies is concerned. But what has become clear is that these people, the attackers, what has become clear is that the attackers usually attack from their comfort zone. It is clear, looking at all the instances, it appears that the attackers have zones that they are very comfortable in. They know the areas very well, so that in terms of when the heat increases, as and when the security agencies respond to the attack, they are able to easily get away. If you come to other attacks that have happened on the highway, there haven't been instances where the attackers confront or attack the vehicles when there is a police escort or there is a military escort. But with these two instances where there is an attack even with the police there or the military there, it clearly tells you that, one thing that stands out is the fact that these attackers usually feel very comfortable in those areas. As for what the the security agencies there have, they hardly come out, the tactics or how they are going about, handling the issues. But one thing is clear, and that is the fact that they are increasing the number of patrol teams, not only on vehicles, but on motorbikes. Whenever you are entering Boko, even though there's a ban on motor riding, military personnel, police personnel are seen riding motorbikes to areas that can't easily be accessed by vehicles, all in the efforts to ensure that wherever there's trouble, the response team from these security agencies are able to get there in time and see how best they can douse the situation.
Now, if you're just joining us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Information we're getting now is that 3 people have been left with life-threatening injuries after gunmen ambushed an Accra-bound passenger bus in Boko, in the Upper East region. The ambush happened near the Boko Senior High School, and it's become now a normal practice for the police personnel to provide escort for passenger buses in Boko because of the previous instances of these buses being attacked by these gunmen. But even with the police escort for these passenger buses, these gunmen are continuously attacking these passenger buses. That's left 3 people injured. We're talking about the driver of this said bus. If you go on our Facebook page at 3FM927 right now, we're showing you pictures and videos of this bullet-riddled bus that was attacked by the gunmen not too long ago. This is some breaking news. We're getting information coming through right now. We understand that they've been rushed to the injured have been rushed to the Presbyterian Hospital for treatment, and security in the vicinity has also been beefed up as a result of this. If you go on our Facebook page right now at 3FM927, we'll see some pictures and videos of this rather unfortunate incident earlier today. That's what's happening right now in Boko. And if you recall, President Akufo-Addo was very clear in the State of the Nation address that Boko is costing, in terms of security, providing security for Boko, is costing the nation so much money, and something needs to be done to, as it were, be able to address this. One will recall that shortly, and what the president had to say with respect to this Boko situation and what has to be done going forward. Take a listen to President Akufo-Addo on the conflict in Boko.
Whilst we're spending time, money, and energy and lives keeping the country safe from external dangers, I must add that it is a matter of great concern that we continue to have so many chieftaincy and land disputes around the country, which tend to be breeding grounds for internal tensions and destabilization. Mr. Speaker, I must make special mention of the troubles in Boko. The tragedy is not only that a thriving and dynamic town is being reduced to a wasteland of destruction and distrust. We're spending money and energy that would have been better spent on development needs of Boko, providing security to keep brothers and sisters from killing each other. Mr. Speaker, what should concern all of us, and not just the people of Boko, is that in its current state, Boko is an alluring magnet to mischief makers and extremists operating a few kilometers away from the border. In a bid to find a lasting solution to the conflict, government has in the past year undertaken a number of measures, including the establishment of a special Boko task force and the intensification of engagements with the factions for the resolution of the chieftaincy dispute.
That's President Akufo-Addo there. Now, Castro, before I let you go, you have also been monitoring the accident that occurred in a town in Burkina Faso that involves some tomato traders from Ghana who also, as a result of this accident, have been left with some injuries. What's the update to that?
Yes, so I have been speaking with the medical superintendent of the Navrongo, the War Memorial Hospital in Navrongo, where some of the injured have been taken to, and he clearly told me in an interview today that one of the victims of the accident has been treated and discharged. He says that the association of the tomato buyers within the Paga area, and in fact close to the border, have prompted him that they will be bringing in more of the injured who were still being treated in hospitals in Ouagadougou, in Burkina Faso.
Let's hear from him now.
On the morning of Tuesday, the 27th of February 2024, we started by receiving a patient who had some injuries. And as part of the information gathered, she informed us that they were involved in a road traffic accident somewhere in the boundaries of Burkina Faso, in which the vehicle they were traveling on collided head-on with an oncoming vehicle, and we should be expecting some more casualties. And so the hospital, once this information was received, we prepared ourselves. Our emergency systems are waiting for such casualties. And by about 3 p.m., we received a vehicle with 3 women who were lifeless, confirmed dead. And subsequently, these bodies have been deposited in the mortuary. We understand there are some more injured patients, and the families of these patients are still making contacts too.
So, Castro, it's indeed the case that 3 Ghanaian women, that's tomato traders, died as a result of this accident, or have been confirmed dead as a result of this accident in Burkina Faso?
Yes, that is the case. That 3 Ghanaian traders who usually join these tomato trucks to go to Burkina Faso, and this time round to Moktenga in the far east side of the Burkina Faso to buy tomatoes and import tomatoes into the country, have died. They died in the accident, which happened in the early hours, or should I say, at the dawn of Tuesday this week.
Okay. Thank you so much, Castro Sanyana, it's Upper East Regional Correspondent, giving us updates here on Hot Edition. It's one that we keep an eye on as things play out here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. Now, Ghana's Parliament on Wednesday, February 28, passed the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, popularly known as the Anti-LGBTQ Plus Bill. Now, the private members' bill was sponsored by 8 members of Parliament, talking about Samuel Nati George and Dela Soa, Emmanuel Kwesi Bechra, Al-Hassan Surini, Rita Nao Dole Soa, Helen Tosso, and Roxy Nelson Dafiampo, all of the NDC, as well as Reverend John Intimfojo, who's a Deputy Education Minister, also a member of the NPP. Now, about the human sexual rights and family values, so this bill that has been passed or approved by Parliament, the object of the bill we're talking about is to provide for human sexual rights and Ghanaian family values, proscribe LGBTQ plus and related activities, proscribe propaganda of advocacy for or promotion of LGBTQIAA plus activities in this country. Now, key aspects of the bill are persons caught in LGBT activities could face a minimum of 6 months and a maximum of 3 years jail term, and promoters and sponsors of such acts could face between 3 and 5 years in jail, and places an obligation on a person in whose presence an offense is committed to report to the police. Now that the bill has been passed, how will it become law? This is the path that this bill will take after Parliament's approval. The bill is going to be presented to President Kufuor for assent within 7 days. And within the 7 days, the President will indicate after receipt whether he assents to the bill or will not do so. Where President opts not to assent, he shall within 14 days state in a memorandum to the Speaker his specific concerns. Now, Parliament shall then consider the bill taking into account comments by the President. The bill will then be passed with 2 sureties, that's two-thirds approval, at least 183 members, and President must then assent to the bill within 30 days. So that's what's going to be happening. In response to the passage, the United States Department has expressed concern, saying the legislation will undermine human rights in Ghana. The U.S. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller says the bill would threaten all Ghanaians' constitutionally protected freedoms of speech, press, and assembly. He adds that the bill would also undermine Ghana's valuable public health, media, and civic spaces and the economy. Meanwhile, the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, Ocansey, has also described as profoundly disturbing the passage of the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2024. Now, gay sex is already against the law in Ghana. It carries a 3-year prison sentence. Dr. Theophilus Edwin Coleman is a visiting assistant professor of law at the University of Buffalo School of Law, New York, in the USA. He joins us for a quick conversation on this matter, but let's hold on a bit. Let's go to the telephone now. Private legal practitioner Martin Pebo is also joining us for a conversation on this matter. Martin Pebo, as always, I do appreciate your time joining us here on Hot Edition. Now, looking at this, the bill, as you do know it, are the concerns of its infringing on the human rights a legitimate and, as it were, one concern that is grounded in law, looking at the details of this particular bill that has been approved by Parliament?
Hey, Mr. Ocansey. Wow, so let me go this way. You remember I've made general comments. As for me to, specifically go on to advocate for gay rights, they have made a precondition that those involved have to show their faces. I can't be doing advocacy for people I don't know. Okay, they have to come publicly. So once they are not willing, and you see, there's also this point that there are some who are even lawyers. And so if they are not willing to fight their own fight, I keep telling you that I have two major fights, that lots of people are feeling hardship in Ghana today. Lots of people can't buy medication, food, rent, etc. Times are very hard. Those people, I know them. We can talk about them, right? So the gay people, and of course, number two, my asset declaration law. We want a new law that will make sure that they can publish the assets that are declared by government officials, all those in the category that are required to publish their assets. We need that law ASAP to help fight corruption so that all those who have amassed wealth over the past 7 years and also in the NDC administration, so both NDC and PP, to make it harder for them, right? So those ones we can identify with. But this gay, now the act is left with the president to extend. The people don't want to come out. So it's difficult to advocate for a person who doesn't want to show his face. Yeah, there's a price to pay. We all are paying prices. This advocacy we do, Mr. Ocansey, you and I, we are paying a price. People see us, then they label us NDC, etc. Now, I don't mind because we are like, look, once your heart is clean, you know you are not following any particular political party, but you're working for the good of Ghana. It's fine. So we are paying a price. Even sometimes work that people want to give you because they think you are NDC. They say, no, they will not give you work. It happens, but we are paying a price. So until the gay people also come out, that they should also pay a little price, yes, there will be stigma, but eventually it will go. So until they come out, I can't advocate for them. No, that one is not negotiable. Come out. Yes, there's a price. Everybody has to pay a price. Once you don't want to pay a price, then it means that it's not worth it. So I can't do detailed analysis of the bill.
And it's a fair point. And you say that even on the human rights that argument that they are making, which borders on the law, there are some lawyers whom you know are gay or associated with the LGBT?
Yes.
In Ghana?
Yes, in Ghana, yes. And they are refusing to show their faces. So once they are not willing to show their faces, then it's difficult to fight for them. Yes. Yeah, they are lawyers. There are lawyers who are, gay. Yes. And they say they won't come out. So once they say they won't come out, then it's difficult. It's difficult to fight because you have to have a client. So if I just come, you're advocating for gay rights. Who specifically am I advocating for? We don't know. But once again, like I said, when it comes to the poor people, yes, I know them. They meet me all the time. Say, lawyer, talk about poverty. We are dying. We can't buy drugs. We can't buy food, right? Times are very hard. Yes, I know them. Surrounded by very poor people. So I know who I'm talking for. Are the gay people, once they say they won't come out, so then the question is, who are you talking for? Who? Where is the person you are talking for? and you don't want to pay any price, stigma. But, I mean, it will go. Yes, it will go. Because rather, I know Ghanaians to be compassionate. So I'm thinking that if you show your face, you're likely to get more compassion than stigma. You see. But look, even China, China that's even until a few years ago, even in the late 80s, China was still receiving aid from the West. We're still hungry people, but in the last 40 years, maybe 35 years thereabout, you see how they've developed themselves astronomically. My point is that even that place that it's not banned, right, there's still stigma. So the point I'm making with this Chinese example is that you find that they don't expressly ban it in China, but there's still stigma. So if anybody is making the argument that, if I show my face, there will be stigma, then it means that that person will never show his or her face till death, because stigma won't disappear in a year or two. No, not one generation. Generations. It takes a long time. But who even says in America and the UK, you still don't have bits of stigma? So it's a lifelong thing. But you come out, so initially there'll be a lot of stigma. Then as the years go by, it will start dying down. If you say no, you won't show your face at all, then that one, I don't know what else to say.
Now, hold on a minute. I wanted to take a listen to the majority leader, Alexander Afenyomakin, on this bill. If you recall that 2 weeks ago, he had raised some 15 amendments that he wanted to be considered by Parliament. Later, he withdrew that. Yesterday, before the bill was approved by Parliament, he had raised some concerns as well. He spoke earlier today to my colleague Belamundi on New Day. Take a listen.
Yesterday, when they came and they themselves moved for further second consideration, I said, here we are. Then I told them, then let's look at the 12. The 12 too should be subjected to the constitutional provision. They said, no. So I felt that it's like one way. You want to have your way, but you don't want to hear anybody. So I think that they themselves have seen it, but they've not seen all. My job has ended in Parliament. A Democrat must concede, accept the situation, and move on. The rest of it is for others to play their role. All right? I have said, as a lawyer, I see serious constitutional issues in there. Yesterday, they attempted to cure some of them. They didn't cure all. So I see all of that.
Okay.
But my job ended yesterday as a Democrat in that chamber. Okay. And that's it.
Well, so that's Afenyomakin. We also understand, that some 18 civil society organizations are preparing to challenge aspects of this bill at the Supreme Court. And also, to that extent, that may impede this entire process. Does that bring up another layer of consideration as well, especially taking into consideration how this bill that has been passed has generated international conversation already, with the U.S. State Department, UN AIDS, and the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights all talking about this?
Yes, certainly it's going to bring another level of conversation. Yes, because litigation also generates conversation. And it's good. So maybe at going to court, etc., yes, maybe eventually the gay people too would come out. Yes, because if the thing is really affecting you, eventually you have to come out. So, yes, it's good that people speak. Let the civil society organizations have their day in court, because that's how we build a democracy. And so in the process, maybe we would then have gay people themselves also come out and join their own fight. Yes, it's very important, because without named persons, the fight becomes very unwieldy. Because who are you fighting for? That's a very crucial.
You have just.
I've said it privately to some of them that, listen, you have to come out. It's a fight. You and I, Mr. Ocansey, see the forces we are fighting. Yes, they are dangerous, but we are fighting. A man has to fight. So if you don't want to fight, they don't enjoy all your rights. It's like that from history. Lots of the rights, these rights that a lot of them, we got them we also fought to some extent. But what I mean is that a lot more people died in other parts of the world
right.
to be able to get these liberties. A lot more people died. You remember the Civil War in America?
That's right.
The one Abraham Lincoln led. The Americans themselves, previous to that, the 1770s, the Independence War, they fought against Britain. The British were colonizing them in the 13 colonies in the U.S. there. They had to fight an independence war, and people died.
That's right. And exactly the point, and that's exactly why this issue is beginning to gain all of this traction. But let's go on to other telephone as well. Dr. Theophilus Edwin Coleman is a visiting assistant professor of law at the University of Buffalo School of Law, New York. Thank you so much for your time and also staying with us here on Hot Edition. Do you share the views that the law passed in its current form may be defective, as some have argued?
Law that I completely disagree. But let me first of all greet the entire Ghanaians and then express my displeasure, especially in this particular parliament. There have been so many instances where they've expressed immaturity, and this is one of those instances where they've made emotions play a center stage in a lawmaking process. And it is important to table my displeasure. And it is also important for me to say that so that sometimes people do not think that the conversation is being driven from a Western perspective. I am actually a Ghanaian, me a Ghanaian, me fi Ghana, me fi Gwai, but Odu baby sometimes, yenim breshe bigwafono. So what I say, especially or your emotions are something was there or the you can't here. And that is the reason why I completely oppose the essence of the bill, the content of the bill, the idea behind the bill, and even the reasons behind the bill. You might quite remember when this whole debate started, I was one of the few people who opposed the fundamental objectives of the bill, especially in terms of the intrusion into fundamental human rights, particularly freedom of speech. Now I think Parliament has gone too far, in my honest opinion. They've gone too far. They've gone too far, especially when it comes to academic freedom.
These are thoughts also being expressed by many. Dr. Theophilus Edwin Coleman, well, thank you for your thoughts and for joining us here on Hot Edition. But one issue that's been also raging over the period is the power outages. Dumso, that a number of you have been experiencing many places across the capital and beyond. The managers of Ghana's power sector have come under pressure from minority caucus in Parliament to release a load shedding management plan in the wake of the recent power outages. Parts of the country continue to experience intermittent outages, leaving customers to wonder if the country has returned to the era of the dreaded on and off days, which popularly became known as Dumso. Residents in Accra, several parts of Accra, Kumasi and Tamale continue to contend with unannounced outages lasting for several hours. The failure by main power distributor, Electricity Company of Ghana, and the Northern Development Distribution Company, that's NEDCO, to explain the cause of these outages is further fueling speculation. President Kufuor, in his State of the Nation address on Tuesday, February 27, touted the achievement of his government in reducing energy sector debt and keeping the power on. Let's do a quick recall. This is what the president said 2 days ago.
My government was determined that Dumso would not be inflicted upon Ghana and Ghanaians under an MPP government. And I'm glad to be able to say, so far, so good. We've managed to keep the lights on these last 7 years, even in the midst of a financial crisis. We've managed the energy sector with discipline and expertise to avoid a repetition of the hardships inflicted on Ghanaians some years ago. Furthermore, Through determined, skillful negotiation, we've been able to reduce considerably the energy sector debt that we inherited. Indeed, the government negotiating team carried out a successful reconciliation exercise with the IPPs and ECG, which established that the IPP arrears position was not the $1.6 billion that had been previously reported in the media, but was actually $1.2 billion.
Well, so that's President Akufo-Addo there at the State of the Nation address. Nana Moesi the seventh is the executive director of the Institute for Energy Security, IES. Nana Moesi, can you hear me? Good evening.
I can hear you, Alfred.
Thank you very much for joining us. Now, let me start off from the point the president makes that the debt owed the IPPs after an audit, it was established not to be $1.6 billion, but $1.2 billion. Is it one that you're aware of?
Come again.
I'm asking the president's assertion that after an audit, the debt owed to the independent power producers was discovered to be $1.2 billion and not the $1.6 billion that had been earlier reported. Is it one that you are aware of?
We've heard the news, but then we're asking which audit did they do on which part of the debt? Is it on the invoices on power sale to government? If that's the one they are auditing, then it's a different matter here altogether. But then we also know that there are other debts that are hanging that have not been tackled by government. Foreign exchange losses, capacity charges has also not been addressed. Invoices for gas supply to the IPPs have been sent to government, and debt to be paid as well. And so I don't know whether they're lumping all this and giving it that figure.
I see. So, based on your own understanding and of how things are played out and the information that you're picking, what is the cause of this intermittent power outages we have been experiencing for the past 4 days or so?
Well, it's a liquidity problem. Government is struggling to pay for fuel supplied and also to buy additional fuel for the thermal plants. And here we're talking about natural gas here. And government, as we all know, owns NGAS, owns the VRA, the GMPC for gas supply from the western corridor to the eastern corridor. That one is government to government, so it can be managed. But then the one from Nigeria to Ghana has been erratic in supply because government is struggling to pay the amount owed them, of which we don't know the quantum. And so that's the issue. So it's a question of capacity to pay for gas to be supplied. And if you don't pay, I don't supply enough for your power generation. And so we have some power plants that have been idle for a while because they are starved of the much needed fuel, and this, in this case, natural gas. Meanwhile, government has also failed to have any backup of fuel stock. Meanwhile, we all know that aside natural gas that plants can run on, most of the plants can run on light crude oil, on heavy fuel oil, and on diesel. But then there are no backups here. Government is looking just at natural gas supply, and they are unable to pay. So it's an issue of, finance and gas to be supplied.
So it is not the case that Sen Power's plant has developed a fault as has been reported, but...
what is the capacity of Sen Power?
That's 350 megawatts.
Okay. Thank God yesterday, some gas, gas flow from the western corridor to the eastern corridor was ramped up to the extent that Asogli for the first time was able to produce more than 530 megawatts. From the beginning of the year till now, Asogli has struggled to produce in excess of 250 megawatts because the first phase one of Asogli, 200 megawatts, have been idle since the beginning of the year because of lack of fuel. Gas has also been experiencing the same. And so if they come and tell us Sengas plant problem, then it's a newly created one. We pray that this is not also one of the tricks that is played on us. We all know that it's an issue of fuel supply.
Do you agree that in such instances, Ghanaians deserve some clarity to aid planning instead of this unannounced power outages that we have been treated with over the period?
It's not something Ghanaians must even demand. Ghanaians deserve to have a timetable because we are shedding power. And it's not just yesterday, we've been shedding power for a while. And so it's the right of Ghanaians to have a table that can help them plan their lives in the midst of load shedding. It's not something we must beg for. It is just, fair, and common sense also dictates that if you are shedding power for your consumers to enable them plan their lives, give them a timetable. But as we know it, we play politics of timetable. And so government thinks that if I put out a timetable, it's an admission that there is doom so. And we are watching all these utilities also play to the gallery. Quite unfortunate.
Fortunate indeed. But any idea of when this is going to be resolved based on the information you picked up?
As for the last thing you will attempt to do is to vouch for government. You cannot speak for government. It will disappoint you. When issues are financial in kind, you don't take out your net for government. Let government deal with the situation. As far as we know, until the financial challenges are addressed, doing so will be with us for a very long time.
That's a heartbreaking statement, but the reality, is it not?
It's the reality, Alfred. And I gave you, when we spoke some time ago, that aside transmission challenges and distribution challenges that could result from faulty lines and transformers and all that, two key problems exist. And it's been adequacy in install capacity and fuel supply security. To a large extent, the previous government dealt with the question and problem of plant capacity or available plant capacity. It proceeded to put the extra to address the challenge so that we can buy studies in December 2018, the extra is sent out at least $650 million annually. So within a period of 5 years, ESNA was supposed to raise something in excess of $3.5 billion to defray a legacy debt of about $2.7 billion as close of 2023. Today, our debt keep on going up. And for the power sector alone, we can say confident that we are doing something good, closer to $2 billion.
Okay, let's go talk. She's on the top.
We are not talking about the sector.
Nana, I do appreciate your time, and we'll continue this conversation in a bit on Ghana Tonight. Thank you so much for joining us here.
Thanks for having me, Alfred.
Nana Mwesi the 7th is the Executive Director of the Institute for Energy Security, joining us with his thoughts on this. In fact, if you go on our Facebook page right now at 3FM927, we're showing you videos of when Parliament was disconnected of the electricity. Parliament went dark earlier today after the house, the August house, electricity connection was taken out by the Electricity Company of Ghana. A number of you sending us messages of what is happening where you are. Thank you so much. This one here, power, it says, Doomso is back. My power has been out since 7:30 a.m. earlier today, and it's still not been restored. Thank you very much for your message. And this is John Jinapo, who is a ranking member of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament, addressing the press after the electricity in Parliament was taken out.
The load shedding is getting worse by the day.
Okay, let's go talk.
The very day His Excellency the President was delivering the State of the Nation address and boasting the utility companies were shedding load. The situation appears to be exacerbating. Yesterday alone, there was a whopping 530 megawatts of deficits, culminating in curtailment of power to Côte d'Ivoire, to Burkina Faso, and to Togo. You would attest that there was some massive darkness yesterday. Today at 12 p.m., load shedding would commence again.
Okay, let's go talk.
Our investigation indicates some of the thermal plants are down. Specifically, Tapo is down, Tico is down, and so they are not generating enough power. But more importantly, there's a lack of fuel in the system. Because of the financial constraints, government has not been able to procure adequate fuel to fire some of our thermal plants, culminating in the load shedding that we're experiencing. 1 month of load shedding is more than enough. This is not sporadic, this is continuous, this is persistent, and we think that the handlers of the power sector should do the onerous thing by informing the people of Ghana so they can plan ahead of time.
That's John Jinapo there. Number of you sending us messages. Gideon Duart says, Dumso is back. As I'm typing, power has been out since 7:30 and it's still not back. It has been like this for some time now. It's rather unfortunate that government is refusing to bring out the timetable so that we can plan our lives. Julian Chobega says President Akufo-Addo has lost touch with reality long ago, and in fact is not in charge. You say he keeps solving problems that are non-existent. And A.K. Kwashi is talking about what is human rights about allowing a man, you say, to know another man. There's no such right, so they should give us a break, you say. Manasseh Ametepe is talking about Lawyer Martin People's comments as well. And Samed Issa, thank you for the message, and Abbas Umar, thank you as well. And let's get into business now. Juliana Menuafo is standing by right after this quick break. Stay with us.
It's time to shop, smile, and repeat. Yes, shop, smile, and repeat. Get value for your money with Extra when you shop from CompuGhana Prime Week promo. Get prices on premium brands like Samsung, LG, Sigma, TCL, Sony, Lenovo, Tecno, and many more. Don't miss out on the biggest scale of the month. Visit your nearest CompuGhana showroom this week and buy all your laptops, printers, TVs, home theaters, and more. You can also shop online at www.CompuGhana or call 0302 752 020. CompuGhana Prime Week. Shop, smile, and repeat.
Hey there, smoothie and natural juice lovers. Looking for the ultimate destination for exotic and refreshing blends? Look no further than Nia Juice Bar. At Nia Juice, dive into the luscious sweetness of our natural fruit juices, from the classic orange to exotic tropical blends like peach, guava, mango, passion fruit, to our sophisticated and adventurous creation of our white grape and dragon fruit juice filled with exotic flavors. But that's not all. Our smoothies are a symphony of fruits, natural juices, and sherbets with added protein boost. The ultimate cool and creamy treat. From our tropical mango passion smoothie to the luscious strawberry dreamsicle, we have a smoothie for everyone. Why settle for ordinary when you can sip extraordinary? Visit Nia Juice today at 16 Mission Street, Osu, adjacent Papaye, or call 059-896-7820. Nia Juice. Juicy treats, juicy fun.
So baby, what makes you feel protected and gives you peace of mind?
My partner.
Really guides you through life with a steady hand, your safety net?
Of course. See, my partner is more than what I wished for. Secure, reliable, and trustworthy. If I were to come back in my next life, my partner would still be Coronation Insurance.
Oh, I see. So my partner has a partner.
Yes, so. But seriously, Coronation Insurance is like having a prosperity partner. Do you know about their More to Win promo?
Get reliable insurance cover and amazing freebies with Coronation Insurance in our ongoing More to Win promo. Simply visit ecoronation.com or walk into any of our offices now to buy or renew your motor insurance and win amazing freebies. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, call or WhatsApp us on 0302 772606 or 0308 249 068.
With Coronation Insurance, we are both in good hands.
Coronation Insurance for everything.
54 countries, 29 sporting activities, one city. It's the 13th African Games. The official Aquaba concert. Mark your calendars for the 5th of March 2024 as we gather at the iconic Accra International Conference Center for the Africa Games Aquaba Night in celebration of Ghana's independence. A night of music, comedy and fashion. Come jam to music from Kwame Eugene, Kofi Kinata, Afia, whilst Abrantia the Gentleman thrills you with iconic African fashion display. Grab a front row seat at 300 Ghana Cedis VIP or 200 Ghana Cedis Premium as we celebrate African diversity through music, fashion and comedy and many more. For table and ticket reservations, call 0245 689 331 or 0204 714 598. The Africa Games Aquaba Night is in partnership with Ministry of Youth and Sports and Ghana Tourism Authority and title sponsored by Bethel Logistics with support from Beyond the Return, Techno, Melcom, Man Family Wine, HD Plus, Delish Restaurant, Beautiful Beneath, Jamar Soap, and A-Life. Media partners, TV3, 3FM, Kokonsa, Amayal TV, GH Kweku, Sami K, and GH Hyper. Secure your tickets now.
Good evening and welcome to the business segment on Hot Edition. Straight to a first story. Ranking member of the Finance Committee and Member of Parliament for Bolgatanga Central, Isaac Adongo, has criticized Vice President and Head of Ghana's Economic Management Team, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, for supervising the economic mess the country is going through currently. The MP emphasized that Dr. Bawumia cannot escape responsibility for the economic mismanagement.
Alhaji has introduced a total of some 40 new and adjusted taxes which Ghanaians are further paying to fix its mess. Through these taxes, Ghanaians are paying an additional 110 billion Ghana cedis or $11 billion a year and a total of $330 billion or $33 billion over 3 years as part of the burden in fiscal corrections to fix the mess. That is about $33 billion in additional tax burden, in addition to the 29 billion debt restructuring and multinational support. How can we suffer such monumental cost in excess if you add the 29 to 33?
The MP also expressed doubting regarding Dr. Bawumia's promises to scrap certain taxes, notably the e-levy, if elected as the next president, citing IMF conditionalities.
As the head of the economic management team, Alhaji crafted Ghana's revenue mobilization strategy, took it to the IMF that it was his best solution to Ghana's revenue generation problem. He participated in cabinet meetings and IMF staff meetings to discuss, approve, and submit them as revenue bills to Parliament, and they fought us on the floor to get it passed. You were here. To impose these taxes. Now you return to the IMF and they agree to give you $3 billion. You've already collected 1.5, 1.2 from IMF, World Bank 300 million, 1.5. Now you want us to believe that suddenly you will scrap it.
You heard Ranking Member for Finance Committee Isaac Adongo there. Away from that, energy strategist at Eureka Energy Solutions, Dr. Yusuf Suleimana, has expressed his disappointment over President Akufo-Addo's silence on energy sector during his recent State of the Nation address.
Looking at the fact that our generation mix is almost like 60, closer to 70% thermal, and then the other ones are not that much. So with this huge capacity that is supplied by gas, so it means that gas contributes a lot. So if you table out strategies that you work towards to make your gas competitive, how you plan to improve Ghana gas, how you plan to negotiate your gas to get competitive gas to powered producers, that should have been the way to go, and that should have been something that one would have been wishing to see.
And that was energy strategist at Eureka Energy Solutions, Dr. Yusuf Suleimana, ending business news on Hot Edition. My name is Menu Afo. Bill is on standby with the sports news. Good evening, Bill.
Good evening, Menuafo, and thank you. It's time for sports here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bilish, and earlier on Thursday, Cristiano Ronaldo was handed a one-match ban for a gesture following some Messi chants, but that wasn't the biggest story on the day because French star Paul Pogba has been handed a 4-year ban for doping. Now, 3 Sports Origo Ampofo looks at what is next for the former Golden Boy winner.
Big question now is where does Paul Pogba go from here? What we do know is that there's a looming 4-year ban that has been placed on him for failing doping test. And if you look at Pogba in this instance, he does turn 31 in just a couple of weeks' time. If you're looking at the next 4 years, he's probably around 35 by the time the ban is over. Given the fact that he would be away from football for such a long time, there has been thoughts being whispered around that it could possibly be the end of his career because essentially his Juventus contract would even be over before the 4-year ban would be exhausted. The player has spoken and says that he's deeply saddened with the verdict and would continue appealing with the Court of Arbitration for Sport. But if this ban is upheld, it could potentially be the end of Paul Pogba, whose career would always be a case of what could have been for the French midfielder.
That was Origo Ampofo on Paul Pogba. To our final story, Thomas Partey has returned to Arsenal training and is expected to be fit for Arsenal's Monday game in the Premier League. Thomas Partey had been out for about 4 months with injury issues.
Yeah, Thomas had a session before the game, the last game, and now he's done 2-3 consecutive sessions, so he should be part of the squad on Monday. Those ones is possible, but we have to wait and see, especially the last 2 sessions that we have on Saturday and Saturday and Sunday. And if that's the case, they might be available on Monday.
That was Arsenal's coach Mikel Arteta talking about the fitness of Thomas Partey. That brings an end to the sports segment here on the 3FM Hot Edition. My name is Bilish, and up next is entertainment with Akofa.
And thank you for staying tuned in to Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. It's now time for the entertainment news segment powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. Afrobeat star Kiddy has urged his fans to have a good time with his newest body of work, Danger, while promising them a new album soon. Speaking to 3 Entertainment at a media soiree, the hitmaker called for support for his fellow artists to ensure Ghanaian music wins globally.
This particular one, what was the state of mind putting this masterpiece together?
I felt like before this, I Lied and Liquor that were 2 songs with heavy messages, you know, and it's not all the time that sometimes you want to put out a song with a heavy message. Sometimes, yes, you want to think and, you know, reflect on life. Sometimes you really just want to have a good time. So there's I Lied, there's Liquor, heavily messy. There's this that just tells you, like, let loose, feel dangerous on a dance floor, just have a good time, you know. So
I'm sure every creative person has got expectations for his or her work. What is the expectations for this?
Oh, I won't make you dance. You see there in the Bible, it say David dance making shout out to you. Hey, I won't make you dance when you hear me, Bob. So yeah, I just want people to have a good time with it, have fun with it. That's it. I said earlier, it's an album year. Unlimited music. Like I said, I'm leaving tonight. I'm going to have a show in New York and then DC, Rolling Coco in DC coming up on 9th March. So this song, we're going to take it to the road. We're going to make sure the whole world hears it. And I hope my people back at home also do, you know, justice, dance to it. Like I said, I just want people to have a good time with the song. That's it. A lot of our colleagues are doing amazing. Let's look at them, appreciate them, push them higher. You know, there's the whole world out there to conquer. Let's not be stuck in fighting and bickering and all of that. Let's focus on the positives and let's push each other up, you know. So thank you guys so much for the support. Danger is out. Go check it out.
that ends it for the entertainment news here on Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Zakofa. Thank you for tuning in. Keep your dial locked on 3FM 92.7. The 3FM drive continues.